Hello everybody. Today is January 3rd, 2019, and I'm going to start a video today titled, Why So Much Hatred Against Christians and Christianity in America Today, 2019. On Sunday, the day of the Church Massacre, cultural commentator David French tweeted the amount of anti-Christian hate on Twitter the same day Christians were massacred is stunning and chilling. If there ever was a time that we might have expected sympathy for Christians, or at least restraint in attacking them, the opposite proved true far too many times. Why? Fox News' Laura Ingraham noted that some of the reactions to the shooting pointed to the elite hostility to people of faith, stating, hostility to faith infects the popular culture. She also spoke of a rising militant secularism, drawing attention to comments which mocked the prayers of believers on behalf of those affected by Sunday's church massacre. And I'm talking about a while back when we had the church massacre on Sunday. This is more than heartless and tactless. It is intentional and quite focused. Faith in God is to be mocked, in particular Christian faith. And when Christians are slaughtered during a church service, that is perfect time to pile on. To paraphrase, where was your God? You stupid Christians. A lot of good praying did. Go ahead, stick your head in the sand. Some more. Keep praying to your imaginary deity. You deserve each other. These were some of the things that were said on social media right after the massacre. On Sunday, someone posted a picture on Twitter of 3 lions holding up signs that looked like those held up by the cows on the popular Chick-fil-A ads. Except these signs were not saying eat more chicken. The signs read eat more Christians, with a caption adding, America, yeah, it's getting that way. Unfortunately, at this point in time, these sentiments should not surprise us all. As despicable and ugly as they may be, the truth be told, there is an increasing palatable hostility towards the gospel in some quarters in America, and it can easily be explained. First, it is a natural fruit of harsh and condescending new atheism, which continues to poison many hearts and minds with venom. God is not simply to be rejected, he is to be mocked, ridiculed, and so are his followers. Second, the hatred is a result of the culture wars in which conservative Christians are targeted because of their opposition to the LGBT activism and abortion. Bible-believing Christians are commonly compared to terroristic groups such as the Taliban and called bigots, and they're called haters and called Nazis, so on and so forth. On a regular basis, many of us receive death threats that are in the public eye. Others, whose voices may not be as prominent, such as yours truly, receive ugly and personal attacks on social media, and those attacks are filled with malice and bile. I see it every day. I see it every single day. It never ends. Consequently, when tragedy strikes conservative Christians, it brings the hatred against us to the surface, especially when we respond with faith in God. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, drives the left, the atheist in this country crazy. When tragedy strikes, Christians will come together. We will pray. We will seek out the Lord, and it just really drives them. It drives them crazy. They cannot stand that. Go on to third, the darkness hates the light. Third point. And this is an old age battle that will continue until Jesus Christ returns. To the extent we stand for sexual purity and biblical morality, and to the extent we preach Jesus as the only true way to God, We will be mocked and we will be scorned. Simple. That's the way it has always been, and that's the way it shall always be. And that's why we must not deceive ourselves in terms of the cultural climate in America today. The hostility against us is reaching a crescendo, and things could get even uglier in the days, weeks, and months ahead. That's why we should remember the words that Peter wrote almost 2,000 years ago. Beloved, do not be surprised at the fiery trial when it comes upon you to test you, as though something strange were happening to you. But rejoice insofar as you share Christ's sufferings, that you may also rejoice and be glad when his glory is revealed. If you are insulted by the name of Christ, you are blessed because the Spirit of glory of God rests upon you. But let none of you suffer as a murderer or a thief or an evildoer or as a meddler. Yet if anyone suffers as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God in that name. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 12 to 16. And that's why we should also remember the words of Jesus, who called us to pray for those who persecute us in Matthew chapter 5, verse 44, as well as the words of Paul, who called us to overcome evil with good in Romans 12:21. Many of those who ridicule us viciously today will be preaching our message tomorrow. And some of the finest gospel ministers in the world were once profane gospel mockers. So we can expect more abuse in the coming days, weeks, and months. We can also expect some of our abusers to have a change of heart as they encounter God, whom they mock. We must remember, as I say in every video, we must pray. We must stay in the Word. And I will say it again for the 4 millionth time. If it is not in the Bible, it is not the truth. You're being bombarded daily with the absolute vile evilness that comes out of our televisions, on our radios, out of the music that's being played today, in the movies. It truly is the most anti-Christian time, I believe, that I have ever seen in America today. Christians absolutely are being mocked at every turn. It is so true. I made a statement a few videos back about when we gather together to pray, have a prayer vigil for a tragedy that's occurred, or to get together in a park or somewhere and pray for this nation. We are physically and attacked, by these groups, these leftist groups that converge and try to do anything they can to stop Christians from praying, to stop a Christian from testifying and or witnessing. I've seen it on street corners. All you have to do is go right here on this platform, on this social media site that I am putting this video on. Go up to the search bar, type in Christians attacked, street preachers attacked, anything like that, and you will see a plethora of videos where they are being not only verbally assaulted on our street corners, they are being sometimes physically assaulted to stop them from preaching and or from sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ. This is happening. Whether you want to believe it or not, that's up to you, but the truth is there. All you have to do is open your eyes and you'll see it. And the final point that was made, some of the biggest haters on earth of Jesus have turned out to be, wonderful ministers. They've gotten saved. I'll give you two examples. Saul, on the road to Damascus, was knocked from his horse by the brightest light. And the Lord said, "Why dost thou persecuteth me?" And he went on, as you know, Saul became Paul and wrote some of the best chapters in the Bible. I mean, he wrote some of the best books in the Bible and traveled all over. Went from killing Christians to spreading the gospel all over. Second one I'll give you, which might surprise you, is the gentleman that wrote probably, I'm going to personally say, the most famous gospel song probably of all time. If not, it's got to be up at the top. I mean, it's got to be one or two or three at the very least of all time. And that gentleman was the most hate-filled, atheist, anti-God person of his day. He was a leading atheist of his day. And you will be surprised. He turned and found God and wrote the most beautiful gospel song that's sang in so many churches even today. I sing it in church. And that song is my personal favorite, Amazing Grace. The gentleman that wrote Amazing Grace was a fervent atheist of his day, a big-time atheist of his day. He gave his life to the Lord, and from that produced probably, in my personal opinion, the most beautiful gospel song that's ever been written. Amazing Grace. How sweet the sound. Wonderful, wonderful song. So you just never know. You just never know. The gentleman that's hurling insults at you today, the gentleman that is spewing hatred at you today, might be praying with you next week. You just never know. That's why you got to continue to pray for these people. Yes, it gets aggravating. Yes, it gets hard. Jesus never said, not once did he ever say being a Christian or following him was going to be easy. There's nowhere that he says that, because it's not. It's hard. It's a test every day. It's a test. And it's a test you need to pass. It's not easy being a Christian. It's the opposite. It's hard. People think when you become a Christian, everything's rosy and everything goes your way, and you know, all the doors just open up for you, and this, that, and this, you know, but that's not the truth. We struggle. You know, you struggle day to day with everything, you know, paying bills, just daily life struggles that any person goes through. But the difference is, and this is the kicker, this is the big kicker, the difference is when you have Christ, you always have him with you. You always can turn to him for help. And the best part about it is he will answer. He will be there. May not always be the answer you want, but I promise you it will be what you need. There's a big difference between what you want and what you actually need. Christ will always give you what you need. He will always, always be there for you in one way or the other. He'll never fail you. He'll never fail you. That I promise. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Take care. Have a wonderful evening. God bless every one of you. I will see you tomorrow evening. Bye-bye.